Welcome to the Discrete Math class. Okay, my name is Lee Sang-gu, Sang-gu, and this is my email address, sg@skku.edu. And we will use iCampus of Seongkyungan University to communicate each other in Q&A. And you will be able to find about my interest and my work in this web page. And my office at this Natural Science campus is in 32304. This same building, third floor, and just next one, the first room in the third floor, 32304. This is my office phone number. So when you need to catch me, you can call to this number. And also, I have my office in the downtown campus in Seoul, and 600 years anniversary building, first floor, room number 9. This is my phone number in Seoul office. If you can. I'm staying 3 days in here and 2 days in here in a week. So you can use these two numbers to catch me. My secretary will answer you from this phone number. So you can catch me with these email addresses and by phone numbers. Here. In our discrete math course, we will cover the fundamental abstract algebraic structures and concepts, which are mostly often employed in computer science and probability and statistics. Okay. Our textbook, Discrete Math, 7th edition, written by Richard Johnson Bao at DePaul University. This is the textbook that we're going to use. I think this is one of the most well-known textbooks in the whole world for discrete mathematics. Many of universities are using this textbook as a standard for the introductory discrete math course. Okay. And you will find informations in the Pearson publishers webpage for more information of our textbook. We will meet this classroom, 32255, 송천 강의실, 32255, and on every Friday from 12 to 2:45. I have my office hour on Friday from 10 to 11:30, and also you can make an appointment to meet me other than this time by email or phone to catch me, to make an appointment. And I have a teaching assistant for this discrete math class, who is Mr. Jung Jae-sung. Here's his phone number and email addresses. And his office is in 32, this building, third floor, 56-C. This is just next to here, in front of my office. He will be in his office on every Monday and Friday from 10 to 11:30, so you can catch him when you need help from teaching assistant. Okay, or you can communicate with him through these emails and phone numbers. the grading policy will be following. Will be as the following. You will have written midterm offline exam in this class in room for about 30% worse, and your class attendance will be worse 10%, and your homework for 10%, and your participation and questions and answers, and those will be counted for 10%. And your final PBL report or project will be counted for 30%. So this is going to be also as important as your written exams. And your final presentation and the other earlier presentation will be counted for 10%, which makes 100%. That will be based, that will be accumulated to assign your class grade. Yeah, I have made the home page for you. Here, let's see. So, yeah, this page was made by my previous teaching assistant, Miss Lee, and yeah, she wrote some tips for international students for discrete math class, including this PBL report in English, which will be counted about 30% at the end. And so, yeah, you can take a look how you're supposed to go through this lecture together, and then also you will have a chance to give a presentation of those problems and solutions and other questions and answers that you shared. If you take a look, then you will find lots of information which including the problems and solutions and the questions and concepts and answers that I gave you, or the answers which was given by other classmates. So it will be a good resources for you. And next. And we also have the state-of-art discrete math laboratory in here. For example, today we're going to cover some part, we're going to review some part of chapter 1, sets and logics, and it also have not only the lecture note, but also it has other informations, and also it has the Python-based code that you can make changes, but also it works easily by just clicking this evaluate tool, find your truth tables, or so this is a kind of lecture note that I have made, and this is a problems, and this is a solution, and this solution can be double-checked with the Python code, whether it is true or not, something like that. So we made this all from chapter 1 to chapter 9. with this laboratory, which you cannot find anywhere else than 성균관 University. For example, in chapter 8, graph theory, you can draw those graphs easily like this. And if you change the conditions, then you can find the other graphs like this. Not only the small one, but you can also have a graph with 100 nodes. Okay, and vertex. Okay, so this will be a good resources for you. So you can check the answers that you found, whether it is right or not. And also, I have collected most of the questions and answers which was made by my student during the the spring semester. So this also will be a good resources when you go through the textbook, and you can easily clear up your questions. And also, this is a solution manual for many of the problems of this textbook. Okay, here, for example, example 1.3, there was a question and answers are here, and the quiz problems and solutions. If you go far, then for example, in chapter 7 and the problem number, for example, this is a summary of chapter 8 and solutions, problem summaries, and and anyway, these are the kind of problems and questions and the solutions for and answers for those. For example, in chapter 1, problem 15 was solved by Mr. Huang, and here is the answers. This may be a good resources for you. You can improve these solutions for a better one in this semester. And this is a PBL report in Korean. Okay, anyway, basically most of this information were written in English, but some are written in Korean by Korean students. So when you need to use the English version of those, as you see, I made it as a text there, so you can copy those to translate it in English by using Google Translator. So you can, then at least you will understand what it will be, because this is math problem, so it will be clear. It will be much easier to understand how the logics proceed. If you do not understand the broken English, then you can ask it in Q&A of iCampus, so I can help you to deliver the correct concept and the steps. Is it clear? Okay. And also, this is a TA tip for students by teaching assistant, and these are the steps that I have sticks to study the context together with you, and I have worked hard to help you to go through those concepts and problems in the discrete mathematics, like you see here. Okay, now these are the, I think that will do it. Next. Okay, this is a table of contents of this textbook. Okay, first chapter, will be a review of the mathematics that you have learned on sets and logic. New part starts from the chapter 2, proofs. You will learn how to verify your answers or your logics. You will learn the method of direct proof and the proof by counterexamples. And also you will learn the mathematical inductions and the strong form of math inductions. In chapter 3, functions, sequence, and relations will be covered. In chapter 4, algorithms will be studied. Yeah. This part is essential content for the computer science major student, and as well as all others who are using algorithms for the data science and mathematics. Chapter 5 gives the introduction to number theory. In here, counting method and Pigeonhole principles will be covered in detail. In chapter 7, recurrence relations, including Fibonacci, sequence, and many others, and how to solve the recurrence relations will be covered. In chapter 5, graph theory will be studied, which include the shortest path algorithms and isomorphism of graphs, and traveling salesman's problems, etc. And this will give you a good insight to simplify the real-life problem to a mathematical models. In chapter 9, trees, we will learn spanning trees and minimal spanning trees and binary trees and isomorphism of trees. And the others will be reading materials for one semester courses. The structures will be like this. In one semester course of discrete math with this textbook, here we will cover this. Chapter 1 is a review. So chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. That's 9 up to 9. From 1 to 6, 7, 8, and 9. That's what we're going to cover in this semester. This is kind of what structure of it, what's the relationship with the hierarchy of those chapters. Okay, and I introduce it to you, and also I introduce it. This is a weekly schedule. Before we start the weekly schedule, okay, let's ask one question. Okay, this is our weekly schedule. This is not only for this class. There are about 5 or 6 discrete math classes will be offered at Sungkyunkwan University in this semester, and we will share the same syllabus like this, same schedule. Yeah, first week we will have an orientation and a review of the set and logics. Second week we will finish up the chapter 1. Third week we will cover chapter 2 and chapter 4. Fourth week, sixth week chapter, yeah. And after the chapter 5, we will have a written midterm examination for the first 5 chapters. Okay, here's a sample exam that you can. And then we will continue to cover chapter 6, 7, 8, and 9, except those sections. Then we will have your PBL report and oral comprehensive final examination on the 16th week. Okay, clear? And yeah, we will start with some mathematical notations before we start the chapter. And you must have seen this notation, the flipped A. This means for all x, and x is in B, or something like this. For all x in A, that x is in B, which means A is a subset of B. So this means for all, and such that can be written in this way. Okay? And there exists is the flipped letter of E. There exists. Therefore, can be written with this mathematical notation. And this is an international language that everybody in whole world are using the same notation. Russians and Japanese or Italian and French are all using this in mathematics. That will make our discussions much more clear in mathematics. And because can be written in this way. And if you use this, that's the arrow with the double lines, that means imply. The single arrow means converse. Okay. So this means A implies B. If A is true, then B is true. That's what is used. This is a double equality with the directions on both sides. And that is used for if and only if. If A is true, then B is true. If B is true, then A is true. We use it. This is if and only notations. And when you finished your argument, then quota estat demonstrandum. It's an old word in Latin. And now we use the harmless square. When you start your argument, you start with the solution. This is my solution for this problem, and this proof, this theorem. Then at the end, if it's been done, then you end it with this mark, harmless scale. And each problem, you start and end, like you do write your code. You should clarify where you start, where you end it, so you can start the new problem. So this is important. And set of real can be written as this R, bold R. And set of complex numbers can be written as a C like this. And vectors like this. This vector is a special case of a matrix. N by 1 matrix is a vector in Rn. I think this is the last page. You must have learned, this is a big picture of your mathematics. This must be your background, and this will be the other mathematics course which you will study or learn. You must have studied the calculus, and this is the concept of the calculus, and here you must have learned the limit. And you must know how to find the limit of the given functions, and you must find the left limit and right limit. And if they are not same, then it's not converge. It does not converge. And you must be able to draw the graph of the functions and those things. Anyway, so the calculus you must have learned it, and we have covered all those in here, and you must have learned the double integrals and others, the line integrals, and you can find the surface areas, and you should be able to draw the graph of 3D images of the function with two variables. And you will have 3D images of the given functions. Okay, anyway. So you must have learned calculus, and some of you must have learned linear algebras before or after this discrete math. Now in discrete math, we will learn many interesting things. These are the web pages that I have made, and this in here, you will have my recent lectures on discrete math, and these are the information that I have, some articles that I have written. What is the discrete math, etc. And PBL report and chapter 1 and Catalan number and Fibonacci number. You will learn all this and how. This is what we're gonna learn in English this time. Catalan numbers and Fibonacci's and those are. Anyway, after this discrete math, you may need some basic knowledge on statistics and differential equations and complex variables, or just engineering math, which will cover the complex variables and discrete math, discrete differential equations and the linear algebras. This engineering math covers all those in brief. And some knowledge for statistical and mathematical knowledge for big data, where now the society need the data scientist is in need. So you have to learn some of these, and Songyungan University have offered the mathematics course in a secure like this, and you are in here in discrete math, which is one of the central parts of the mathematical knowledge for your careers. I think that's the end of the introduction. Before we start chapter 1. Any questions before we start chapter 1? Mr. Kim Mun-seo? Yes. Any question before we start the chapter 1, set and logic?